This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with your mental health professional. This episode contains discussions of sexual and physical abuse. Warning. Hello. Hey, family, and welcome back to another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise Brown. And family, hold on. If you've been passing by and you have not joined the family as of yet, please do so. It's so easy and it doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is click this little subscribe button, subscribe to the podcast, like the podcast, and share the episode with another family member or a friend, someone who you know you want to bless with whatever we're talking about today. Okay? So now, the business, we're going to move on because that's taken care of. And today, family, we are going to jump right on in. We have another expert with us here today. And, it's coming in because, she's coming in because everybody's talking about the Diddy trial, the Diddy trial, the Diddy trial, the Diddy trial. Diddy and Cassie. And then I had a lot of questions about Cassie's psychological state, but there were more so than question. There's a lot of judgment out there about Cassie and why she stayed and if she really wanted the abuse and if she loved the abuse. And, just people saying that when you're in a situation, in an abusive relationship, or maybe engaging in acts with someone who is abusive to you, if you stay, then what it seems as if people are saying that the critique is it's because you wanted it. It's because now you've become a part of it. You're a co-conspirator, but that's not necessarily true. And I talked about that in my last podcast, and it's actually labeled, Why Did Cassie Stay? Okay, but today we're going a little bit deeper and we're going to talk to a SANE nurse. So let me introduce this beautiful, smart woman right here today who's also my friend in full transparency. Her name is Nurse Noel. Nurse Noel, please tell us, what does SANE stand for?
Hi, thank you for having me. This is so amazing because this conversation definitely needs to be had. So, a SANE it stands for, SANE, Sexual Assault Nurse Examiner. And you have to be a registered nurse to be one, and you have to go through extra training to get certified in sexual assault forensic nursing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Because I wanted everybody to know what that meant. Because at first I didn't know what it meant either. You had to teach me and tell me that. Okay, because we know, family, there's nurses, but this nurse has a special certification to work with women and men, I'm assuming,
Yes,
who have been sexually assaulted. Is that true?
that is true. We work with women and men ages 13 and above. So 13 and under is a different certification.
Okay. Oh, that's so good to know. Okay, so I just wanted to jump in from and get your expertise on a few things. But, allegedly Cassie said that she was sexually abused by Diddy, and she's also claiming, or either the prosecution, the state is claiming, that she was sexually trafficked. Okay. So he is still on trial. We will say allegedly. However, I know that I did see, and you probably did too, Nurse Noel, I did see that video where he was physically abusing her. So that I do believe to be true. However, we're talking about sexual assault today. So my first question is, and I'm just kind of going off of the critique of other people. So just from your perspectives, why is it, do you believe, that people don't come into the hospital to when they are sexually abused, because my assumption is, let me just set this up, I'm sorry, my assumption is that people would think that if Cassie was sexually abused, then why didn't she go to the police station, and why didn't she go to the hospital, or however it goes. So I'm just wondering if you could shed light on the process, and then tell us, from your own personal accounts with dealing with patients, why is it that people don't come in for treatment after being sexually abused?
Okay, so with sexual assault, 1 in 6 women, let's focus on women right now because this is a woman. Cassie is a woman. 1 in 6 women are they are victims or survivors. We call them survivors. They are survivors of an attempted or a completed sexual assault. So, and usually most of the women that come in contact with their assailants, the assailants are usually familiar to them. So that's a high percentage also. So it's embarrassment. It's, what did I do? Why did I deserve this? What did I do to make this, to make this happen? Why did why was I so weak? And that's usually the consensus of most of the sexual assault survivors.
Okay, so survivors, and so you believe that this is why they don't seek treatment.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
so what is the process? What does it look like? I'm just wondering, if someone comes into your facility, and
Mhm.
we'll talk about, well, I know women and men, but if they come into your facility, and where is it that you work? Where do you have SANE sexual assault nurses in? Is it the hospital? Is it in private practice? Like, what does that look like? And what does it look like for someone to come in and see you?
Okay, so we are employed by the county. So this is for the district attorney. A lot of people think that it's hospital based, but it is definitely for the district attorney. And anytime someone is in an emergency room and they have sexual assault, cues, that cues the physician or the nurse to call the district attorney's office or the police, the authorities, and they send us out to the specific hospital. So I'm home and I can get a call saying, hey, go to such and such hospital or to ABC hospital or XYZ hospital to perform a sexual assault nurse examiner's examination on the assailant, on the survivor.
Okay, okay, all right. So, oh, that's good. Okay, oh, because now this lends back to a lot of women and men victims. They don't tell, so they just may be coming into the hospital for, I don't know, a broken knee, a broken arm, or what I'm saying, something that happened to them, and as they're getting that treatment, someone in the emergency room who's treating them, the nurse or the doctor, is noticing some certain things, some symptoms, and decides, and I love that you said cues, and then they have to make the decision to make a call. And so they call, you say, the district attorney's office.
Yes, we call the district attorneys. Well, I'm a nurse in the emergency room also, so I would call the district attorney's office and then they would send out a sexual assault nurse examiner.
I got you. Okay, that's so good. All right. So now, before you tell me about the examination, because I'm just thinking, I'm trying to figure out, is this examination different than a regular examination? And the
Mhm.
reason why we're talking about this is I want anyone who's listening to know that there is help for you, and look, they have a whole team of nurses who have special training to support you. So I just feel like it's important for us to educate the community on the support that's out there. And then hopefully this encourages them to get treatment and to speak about it and to say something about it. But okay, so before I ask you what it looks like, the examination, tell me, why did you even become certified as
So,
a SANE?
so let me just backtrack. I've been a nurse since 1998, and being a registered nurse, my mom was a nurse, my aunts are nurses, and it was just a family thing. I love being a nurse. However, in 1990, I want to say 1999 or 1998, I was sexually assaulted. and I was a baby nurse. I just started nursing, and I was somewhere that I felt that I should not have been. I went to someone's house. I went to this man's house, and it was midnight. And the first question is, well, what are you doing in his house at 12? You know what was up, and those questions. And I'm young. I'm young at this time. I'm inexperienced. I'm naive. I'm a sheltered church girl. So I didn't take those cues of like, come over, and alcohol was in play. He was drinking. I was not. And I was sexually assaulted. I
Wow.
suppressed I suppressed this I suppressed this for years. I did not think of it. I didn't know it.
So let me ask you, this is good because I didn't even know we were going here.
Mhm.
This is good. No, this is good. I just want to say, well, I want to ask you, I want to say sorry that that happened to you.
Thank
In addition to that, I think this is good because you started off with saying when victims come in to the emergency room or you see them, they
you.
have all of these stories in their head that they're telling themselves. So it was my fault. What was I doing there? Why didn't I? So tell us more about that. That's good.
So the first thing that I was asked by a friend was, well, what were you doing at this man's house at 12 midnight? That is not what we do. You knew what was up. You had to have known. I said I was going over there to see a movie, to watch a movie. I was so excited about this movie that I saw, and it just sparked my interest as a moviegoer. And I got the VHS tape. This is telling you how long ago it was. I got the VHS tape. I took it to his house. I watched it. He drank, and the assault happened.
Mm.
Now, after I want to say 2 days, I didn't remember anything.
Hey, family, come on over here because I have something for you. Starting off with a go to guide for keeping your minds healthy and strong. This right here is the Bible to mental health. It's your mental health Bible. The name of it is Six Pillars to Power Up Your Mind and Make Mental Health a Lifestyle. Hmm, everything that you need to know about keeping your minds healthy and strong is in this go to guide. Where you get it from? Well, you get it from awisebrown.com/shop. But in this go-to guide, honey, in this mental health Bible, you know what you're going to find out? You're going to find out the benefits of aromatherapy, and how it can shift your mood. But guess what? You don't have to go anyplace else to look for your aromatherapy because your girls got you, okay? You can get some aromatherapy here. This is aromatherapy is in this candle. This is called a slice of happiness. It makes me tingle, like literally makes me tingle. A slice of happiness. This is a cruelty free candle with no parabens, no formaldehyde, and no known suspected carcinogenics. Now, you go out here and you find these candles that smell good, but are they good for you? Are they good for your brain? Come on now, get real with yourself. Well, this one smells delicious and it's good for you. Made with essential oils. It's a soy candle. Amazing. Uh, you can burn it or you can just walk by and smell it. Lord have mercy, it's so good. Okay, so that's your candle, your aromatherapy, which raises the dopamine in your brain. That's your natural feel good neurotransmitters in your brain. All right, y'all. And I'm a part of you. You're a part of me. We are a family. We got hoodies now, and these are unisex hoodies, and they wear well, they wash well, and they feel so good. So you can wear them over your clothes, you know what I'm saying, and look dope, or you can wear them as your clothes with nothing under them, which I like to do often. And when you travel everywhere, I mean, every time I wear them, I'm moving around. People are always asking me whether I'm traveling, going to the supermarket. What's that? Who's that? And I'm like, mental health is a lifestyle. Because see, this is on the back. Okay? They come in white and they come in black. I'm like, join the family. Mental health is a lifestyle podcast. So there you go. Family, don't you ever say that I ain't give you nothing. You get all of these things from awisebrown.com/shop. All right. I got your goods. I got you. You don't have to go anyplace else. I'll see you on the other side.
Now, why didn't I go to the hospital? Why didn't I call the authorities? One, I didn't know I could.
What?
I thought I would be blamed. Yeah.
So when you say I didn't know I could, that's what I want. Because someone else would hear this and say, what do you mean you didn't know you could? You just pick up the phone and call. But it was because of the thoughts that you had in your head, the story you was telling yourself.
And yes, and also I knew him. So, you don't think of acquaintance rape or date rape as a thing. You always think it's in some type of seedy, some seedy hallway or some alleyway, and it's brutal. And it's not always like that. We see spouses, we see, brothers and sisters, we see friends, we see boyfriends. It's very common.
Yeah. And what is that called? That was good. So it's not just generally when people, and I think this is what you're saying, when people think about sexual assault, right? When you think about sexual assault, you're thinking that it's somebody you don't know, it happens down a dark alley, you know what I mean? They may, whatever, I don't need to describe anymore because I don't want to trigger anyone. However, what you're saying is there are more forms of rape than that form of rape. And
Yes.
so what was the name that you said this was?
It's acquaintance rape or
Wow.
acquaintance assault.
Wow, acquaintance. That's good. So meaning that you knew him, you were familiar with him,
Yes.
and that can be categorized as rape also.
Yes.
Because what I know for sure is I don't care what you're doing, how you do, how close you're doing, and how many VHS tapes, how much music you listen to, how much people drink. When a person says no, they mean no. And it is no. And even if you were kissing the guy, even if y'all were groping, that still does not say yes unless you say yes. You can if when you say no, no means no.
No.
So, okay. Yeah. So Nurse Noel, so you was in this situation,
Mhm.
acquaintance, y'all were gonna watch the movie, the abuse occurred, and then you said you felt like you couldn't tell, you couldn't call anybody because he was an acquaintance, and you felt like you were going to be blamed. That is horrible. Okay, so you said that memory didn't come up till 2 days later. So I won't even ask you because I'm sure people are thinking, so then how did she leave out? How did she get home? How did she? And so,
And here it is. I can tell it. I can tell it. No, the memory, it didn't come back 2 days later. I kept the memory for only 2 days. And then it left for years. So that's what I wanted to clarify. My friend, I went to a payphone outside, shirt ripped, pants ripped, no shoes, ran outside, called collect to one of my friends because at that time no one had cell phones. We were calling on landlines. I called her collect and I told her to call back the number because back then payphones had numbers. I called her, she called back. I told her, please come get me, bring my other friend to come get me. And they both came and one drove my car home. And we didn't discuss it after that. We never discussed it for years. And then it came back up, I want to say 12 years later. Yeah, about 11 or 12 years later. The memory just came back.
oh, that's so good. And a part of post-traumatic stress is really disorder is a disassociation. So really disassociating yourself where you kind of feel out of body, like it's an out of body experience. And then I'm just assuming you probably just compartmentalized it. And we do that, that's the brain's trick to not blow up so that the brain feels like, oh, if I kind of think about this and feel like I have to deal with this and I have to figure it out, then I may just blow up. So what the brain does is it kind of puts it in a compartment to where I call them little drawers, to where you don't have to deal with it right then, and then you move on the surface. But wow, I'm just imagining how that shifted your quality of life. Oh my gosh.
It did because at first I'm like, well, why me? Why didn't I remember this? And then and we're taught in psychology class that this is what happens. We memories are suppressed. we don't remember things, and certain things can trigger them. And I don't know what triggered it. I think it was you know what, it was actually a conversation. It was a conversation between my friend and someone else who knew but didn't believe me. So that came up, and I said, you know what, it's time for me to take my health into my own hands, get some therapy, talk about it, and write about it. So that helped me a lot too,
Oh,
writing. Mhm.
that's so great. That is great. That's great. Okay, and thank you for sharing your
Oh,
story because you have a personal account of exactly what we're talking about. And so you said that this is the reason that you decided that you wanted to become certified.
yes. Yes, it is. I was working at University Hospital in Newark at the time, and a woman came in, my patient, you know, I'm taking over, and she's on a ventilator, she's on life support, and we're giving over a report, and I found out that she was sexually assaulted. How did they know? She had bleeding from both orifices, and they found her underwear around her ankles. They found her head had a blunt trauma, and she was, you know, she had signs and symptoms of being sexually assaulted. So these two women, they came in, I mean, when they came in aggressively. They came in, you know, with their black light, with their, you know, the whole CSI thing, and I'm looking like, what is this?
Hmm.
I didn't even understand what this was. This was after 13 years of being a registered nurse. I've never seen anything like it. And we got the subpoena. They provided us with a subpoena, and then they went at it. And then I can tell, you know, then I can tell you what we do. So
Okay, good. No, so go ahead, finish talking. So tell us what you do. So, and I just want to know. So you stayed in the room with them when they were doing? Okay. So
I
yeah. So,
asked, yeah, I asked. I was so intrigued. Like, what are you doing? And they told us that we are sexual assault nurse examiners. We're registered nurses, and we were certified to come in and do pelvic exams, which is, you know, with the speculum. They take samples. They do anal swabs. They check underneath fingernails. They check for hair. They do the whole. If you've ever watched any type of forensic show like CSI, that's what they do. They do the whole. It's the whole gamut. They pluck hairs off. They take pictures. You know, it's a whole process. Now, SANEs, we are supposed to be objective. However, because I went through it, I can be a little more empathetic to the survivor.
mhm.
So but I forgot to tell you this. We also provide medication. So if a person comes in and we do an examination, now this is voluntary. We cannot do it unless we are given permission. You cannot just go and do an examination on someone who is not, who can give consent. Now, my patient could not give consent. So the district attorney, you know, they had a subpoena. However, if it's like me walking into an emergency room, I can opt to not have an examination.
Okay, all right. So yeah, let me kind of go back and clarify that. So
Mhm.
you were saying, okay, when you were there and someone when these nurses came in, y'all received the subpoena. When the district attorney subpoenas you guys to perform this examination, when the victim comes in, then
Mhm.
the victim um pretty much like they don't need to give consent.
Exactly.
Wow, that's interesting.
They're unconscious, so they can't.
Oh.
It's you know, if you come in unconscious, this patient was on life support. This patient couldn't give consent. There was no next of kin. She had heroin and cocaine in her system, so she, you know, most likely she was homeless. She was found in an abandoned building, so there was no one that could give consent. So it was overridden by the district attorney with the subpoena, and that's why we did that.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified that
Mhm.
because if the person, like any other person, is aware of their surroundings, then they have to give consent before this examination has taken place.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. All right. And so once they give consent and then you do it, so and then all of that, I guess that's so good. Everything that's found, right, in that package, then that package is what sent off to does the patient get it or Does like who gets it? Yeah.
So the medical examiner gets all of the data and that's when they do the testing. They're testing for, semen on the skin. They're testing for hair. They're testing for any skin or DNA under the nails or anything like that. That's what they're testing for.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay. So if anyone out here has been sexually assaulted,
Mhm.
whether it's been by a stranger or an acquaintance, the great thing about getting one of these examinations by a SANE when you go to the emergency room is this can be evidence to prove that you were abused in some way. So
Right.
this is a good thing. This is a good thing.
And as women, we have been muted for so long. We've our testimony has been suppressed and repressed for so long that we're afraid of judgment. We're afraid of judgment.
Yeah, afraid of judgment, yeah, from the outside world. And so, and we've seen this, right? Like we've seen it before. We've seen it in the media, we've seen it on social media, and just like now, even though Cassie allegedly who has been sexually abused, this is some years later for whatever reason and however she handled it, whether she suppressed it or not. It took so many years, 10 years, 11 years for her to say something, and everybody is shaming her. They're victim blaming her and saying that she must have been a part of it. And this is the reason why people don't tell. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Is there something you wanted to say?
Exactly. So along with data collection, because it's data collection, we also provide medication. So we give antibiotics for any type of STIs that are bacterial, and we also give antiretroviral medications. We give medications for herpes, HIV, which are viruses, and we also give medication for bacterial infections such as chlamydia and things like that.
Oh, that's so good. So that means if someone comes in and they're infected, you want to try to address it immediately.
Yes, prophylactically. We give prophylactic medication. We also give Plan B, which is, so we get the morning after pill for unwanted pregnancy.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. Um, so let me ask this.
Mhm.
For survivors or victims who are out here, whichever you choose to call yourself,
Mhm.
how do you approach survivors who may be scared, confused, or reluctant to undergo the exam?
That's a hard one because everyone is different. You can't, it's not a cookie cutter thing. You have to assess the situation. And sometimes we call the hospital psychologist. So we do refer for mental screenings and things like that because we're not trained to do that. So we don't do it.
I
That's
got you.
that is the key. We are not trained to do that, so we do not do that because people will try.
I got you. And so I guess the question I was asking is, so if someone comes in and they're scared and they're confused, what you're saying, I love that. There's no cookie cutter answer.
Mhm.
So I see. So if you need support from someplace else, from the psychologist at the hospital or whatever it is, I mean, I guess whomever it is, I don't even know who else would actually come in and help to support to maybe make the victim feel more comfortable if they're confused. So I'm wondering, I'm sure if someone came in and they were confused, you'd educate them,
Of course.
right? Well,
Yeah. So we
mhm.
educate them and we talk to them. I try not to, sometimes it's hard because you try to be empathetic and, not every patient I'm going to say, well, you know what? I was sexually assaulted too. But, sometimes it does help. It does help. We do. And sometimes the district attorney's office sends out people to help also. So
Mm,
they're on staff with them,
I got
with the county. Mhm.
I got you. So to me, it sounds like what you're saying is you did to do one job to collect whatever the sample is that you're supposed to collect, and that's what you do. You ain't there to coerce nobody. You're not there to talk nobody off a ledge. I got you. And so if you need that support, then you reach out. Okay, that's good. So let me ask you this. What advice would you give to someone who has just experienced sexual assault but is unsure whether they should seek medical care?
I would definitely tell them that it's not for the prosecution of the assailant. So a lot of people think that, oh, I'm going to go to court. That this is why you're doing this. It's also for your health. It's also because we give antiretroviral medications. It's because we give antibiotics. It's because we give, treatment for prophylactically for STIs that may have not even been have come up yet. It's because we can provide the plan B. It's not only because let's get this assailant. That's not how we go into it. We go into it as your health is the number one priority. You do not want any STIs that you do not have, or you do not, that you don't want, and you don't want an unwanted pregnancy. So I kind of like spin it on that. Not to be coercive, because remember, we are expert witnesses too. Now, if this goes to trial, I am also an expert witness, and I don't want to say anything that's going to mess up my testimony or mess me up, that I won't be able to give objective testimony.
You would tell them to seek medical care.
I would tell them to seek medical care because
Okay.
you can be treated. That's why you can be treated. It's not, we're going to just be writing things down. You can be treated. There's active treatment, and it's of no cost to you. So yeah, of course, I'll tell them that.
Okay, no, that's good. Okay. How can hospitals, law enforcement, or communities better support SANEs and survivors? Do you have an opinion on that?
I think we need to be out in the forefront. People don't know we exist. So there's no, until it happens. I think it should be education in the schools, in the community, that we do exist and the services that we provide. Because when I tell people I'm a SANE, they're like, what is that? I've never heard of that. But yet I'm talking to sexual assault survivors. And I'm like, wait a second, you don't know what we do, who we are? So I think with the district attorney, with the communities, I think as a whole, they just need to put out the word that we provide services and who we are.
No, that's good. I totally agree. So are there any resources that we could give to maybe victims or survivors who could be listening here today?
You can always go to rain.org, RAINN.org, or you can text or call 988.
Okay, great. I am going to put that up on the screen so that everyone has that. And please, Nurse Noel, let the family know how they can keep up with you, how they can find you.
You can find me on IG at Official Nurse Noel, NURSENOEL. I also have a website, nursenoel.com, where you can send in your questions and things like that. And I do answer DMs, so it goes down in a DM. Just DM me.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Well, thank you, my beautiful, smart friend, who is also a nurse and a certified SANE. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode and educating the family. And family, that is another episode of The Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise Brown. And family, I will see you again next week on the next episode. But don't you ever forget, I love you.